first.
There are no attendees at the moment.
You probably want to open it up just in case any one of them come in.
Oh, I have to start to, oh, I have to start to broadcast, don't I? That's a problem. All right, we do have 2 attendees. We're ready to roll. I would like to inform everyone that the Steamship Authority is making an audio and video recording of today's meeting. And is there anyone else making an audio recording of today's meeting? If so, please identify yourself by pressing the raise your hand icon, or if you are joining by phone, pressing *9 on your keypad. Recognize, please state your name for the record. Thank you. Doug Brown is there. I'm going to bring him over to panelist. I hope I did that right.
Yep, he's coming in.
Okay, and he's muted, so he can unmute himself, I hope. No one has raised their hand. So going on to the next statement regarding remote participation. In response to Governor Baker's executive orders concerning the necessity to conduct public meetings in line with social distancing guidelines during the current state of emergency involving the COVID-19 pandemic, all task force members are participating remotely in today's meeting because their physical attendances today would be unreasonably difficult. All task force members are participating in the meeting by the Zoom video conferencing app, and all members will be clearly audible to each other. We have all of the task force members here today, and in addition, among the panelists are Ralph Packer Jr. and John Packer. And going with the next item on the agenda, hopefully the approval of the task force, of the minutes of the task force November 19th, 2020 meeting in public session. Is there
Move that be accepted.
Second.
any discussion? We'll have to have a roll call vote. Mr. Brathwaite?
Brathwaite, aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Cahill?
Cahill, aye.
Mr. Chattonover?
Chattonover, aye.
Mr. Davis?
Davis, aye.
Mr. Law?
Law, aye.
Mr. Rosen?
Rosen, aye.
Mr. Santoro?
Santoro, aye.
Mr. Sederholm?
Sederholm, aye.
Mr. Suso?
Suso, aye.
Mr. Vercruysse?
Vercruysse, aye.
All right. The next item is a discussion with Ralph Packer of Tisbury Towing and Transportation. And I thought I might turn this over to Bob Davis since he actually invited Ralph and John here today.
Well, yes, so thank you, Ralph and John. And is that Glenn with you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. We appreciate your taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend. The group here was created a little over a year ago to be looking at long-term solutions for the vineyard's transportation needs. And as part of that, your operations have come up, and we were hoping that perhaps you could talk with us in terms of what your plans are and going forward here for freight and the like for the island. So,
Want me to speak? We're on the vineyard. We have a terminal on Beach Road, Tisbury. We've been in the petroleum business for a number of years. Several years ago, we made a great decision. The coastal tankers were going out of business. We purchased a small tanker, built a small tanker barge, and we were in the petroleum business supplying ourselves. From there, the vineyard has grown, and there's requirements for concrete, special type of stone, asphalt, special type of stone, heavy equipment, module homes. So we got very involved in moving stone products in bulk. We have 2 barges that do that. One carries 800 tons, the other one carries 1,200 tons. So we have a tank barge that is we had designed and built. It was not double hull. We've gone through the double hull process, and it is approved by the Coast Guard, double hull, and it's has the capacity of carrying 4 different products. We were supplying a lot of product in Nantucket. They have their own terminal now, but coming back to the vineyard, we supply ourselves. It's made a big improvement. Instead of having 2-3 weeks inventory at hand, we replenish our supply once a week. So it has worked out well. We have some good people. We working out of New Bedford for a number of years, and it was difficult. We were using other people's docks. So we went to the city and acquired a piece of land. A few years later, they took it over and put us in another location at 352 Herman Boulevard. If you're in New Bedford, I want you to be a visitor. Drive in 352, take a look at what we're doing there. We have 400 feet on the waterfront. We have 15 feet of water at our dock, and we can accommodate several barges at one time. So we've been in the product business. We are not going to change. You've got John on your screen. I think you saw one of those grandsons helping him with his computer. But we're going to stay in business. We enjoy the vineyard. We have some terrific people working for us. The vineyard has grown immensely. I'm just going to take a second. In 2015, Module Homes, we moved 35 to vineyard. Next year, we moved 56. Next year, we moved 60, 63, 76. So they become very popular, and they are very desirable. There's all styles and shapes. But we have been very successful and feel as though we're contributing to the community with these homes. Some are very, very small cottages, and some are pretty lavish. In the other products, we carry the petroleum products, we carry stone products, module homes, heavy equipment that are brought to the vineyard to do a more efficient job, and we have some bulk materials. In the total tonnage, I want you to know and understand what we're saying. The total tonnage in 2015, we carried oil, stone, general products, 67,000 tons. The next year was 84,000, 70,000, 74,000. And in the year 2019, because of the tremendous airport job, we carried 130,000. This year, we're down because of the conditions of the country. We propose, with the investment we've made in barges, they've all been brought up to very good quality. Tugs, we have 2. One has been received a certificate of inspection from the Coast Guard, which is brand new. And to make a long story short, we're going to be in business for a long time. We're going to stay in the fuel business and the bulk material business. And I believe we've had a great rapport with the Steamship Authority, and anything that we can do to make it work, we're here to do it. So I hope that has given you a little bit of what we do. But when you take those amount of tons and put them in a 30-ton dump truck and take them down Woods Hole Road, I haven't been able to do the math this afternoon, but it has certainly relieved a tremendous pressure on your boats. Any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
So, well, I just have, so the fuel that you do bring over, that's for your own station and.
Yes.
Yeah.
We bring fuel oil, gasoline, diesel for our own storage in Vineyard Haven. We more recently, last 2 or 3 years, we've been fueling the Woods Hole oceanographic ships. I think I mentioned that to you the other day.
Yeah.
And they sometimes take 50,000, sometimes they take twice that. So they like it and we like it. And we've been working with a broker on being involved in the offshore wind farm energy movement.
Mike
Ralph,
Sandro.
I have a question. Ralph, could I ask you, do you know what the percentage of fuel that you bring over is the total percentage that is used on the island? Do you have any
We're-
idea?
We lost some accounts. We thought that we would be doing what the others do, like trucking it by you people. We did some numbers and found out we could support ourselves quite reasonably. Probably fuel oil, we probably do 3/4. Gasoline, we probably do 20%, 25%, maybe 30%. I'm not sure of the numbers. It's a little guessing game when you have your competition, but that's the ratio. But diesel fuel, we probably do 90% of it on the island, on the diesel fuel.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Doug, yes.
Ralph, Tisbury Marine Terminal is now before the Martha's Vineyard Commission as a development of regional impact. I noticed that part of it's not set for public hearing yet. It's in the pre-public hearing phase, but I noticed that part of the application involves adding 2 additional barge slips. So you're tripling the number of barges that you could load or unload at one time in this proposal. However, at least at the pre-public hearing phase, we weren't given any information about what the intention of your part of Tisbury Marine Terminal is. Can you explain what your plan is and why you need 2 more slips?
We've been working with Vineyard Wind for 4 years. We've had a letter of agreement for over 2 years. We do handle some finances for them on this design. They are very ambitious. They laid out three ramps. We have 1 now. We're having to expand it because the module homes are wider. We probably would end up with 2 ramps. They put on the drawing. I don't think we'll need 3 ramps. Probably 2 will be very satisfactory. They're expensive to build. The one we have now is 30 feet long, 15 feet wide. The new one we're building, it's all built, not installed, is 40 feet long and 18 feet wide, and it matches the ramp that's in New Bedford, and that's to accommodate the homes that were 12 feet, 14 feet, and now they're 16 feet. And it's the difficulty of getting them off a barge in Vineyard Haven. I do not think we'll be building the 3rd ramp. The 2nd ramp would be desirable. If you had a module home and a gravel barge, you could take and unload them both at the same time.
If I may, Rich Salzberg from the MB Times put a chat in that he's recording this.
We saw that.
Okay.
Do you have any projections as to whether that would, if you have a 2nd ramp, whether that is going to increase the amount of cargo that you transport over a year?
It's hard to look in the crystal ball, but I believe the island is depending more and more on mainland supplies, especially in the building materials. There's 2 ready-mix plants on the island now, asphalt plant. They need the fractured bedrock, which we do not have on the Vineyard, and Nantucket, which we do take some product to, is almost exhausted in their sand. And on the Vineyard, we're importing sand. Goodale does have a large amount, but shortly he will exhaust his inventory of sand. And so that means that sand for construction is very necessary, and I assume we'll be importing more of it.
Yeah, you'd have to dig pretty hard to get some bedrock here, I guess.
And they say about 700 feet.
Yeah, pretty far deep.
Yeah. And the bedrock has to be going through a test on hardness, and it's not easy to find on the mainland. It's getting a little scarce, but we have a very good supplier. And but the fractured bedrock hardness is very important to a good quality concrete and to the roadways that they're asphalted.
Thank you.
Yes, Jim Veracruz.
Mr. Packard, in terms of the supplying the Vineyard Wind with their components they're going to need to build the wind turbines, are you going to be involved with transporting that, or is that strictly their operation?
It would be, as I understand it, having a good relationship with them. What we have on the vineyard will be the service depot, possibly 2 high-speed catamaran vessels like the New Bedford Oplus high-speed ferry. They are saying about 50 people employed. That's from boat captains, sonographers, and technicians. We do have the advantage. We're 25 miles closer to the wind turbines. I understand they are moving forward, making arrangements to have a helicopter at the Martha's Vineyard Airport. We are very much in favor of renewable energy, even though we're in the oil business. And I think it's a very important part for us to consider the associated with them. They do need deep water, which we have in Vineyard Haven Harbor, and they're going through a terrible struggle in getting permits and this and that. But I think eventually it will happen. They will probably not have any construction material here. I understand that the jack-up barges that they use to build the towers are too large to go into New Bedford. And I understand that down in Brownsville, Texas, they're building a 450-foot ship just for building the wind towers. It'll be US flag, and they will not be able to enter Vineyard Haven. What they're proposing in our operation is a support to the wind towers, wind turbines after they're built.
And I have one more question. With the redevelopment they're going to be doing in New Bedford, the improvements in the waterfront there, is that going to affect your operation at all?
Well, we're concerned. New Bedford is a very important place. It has the hurricane barrier. It has a very protected harbor. There used to be whale ships, cotton mills, and fishery. And now the Sea Scallop fleet is becoming very large, adjacent to where we are. In New Bedford Harbor, we're on the north of the bridge. They're proposing to build 600 or 700 feet of dock. We've talked to the people in New Bedford, Mr. Washburn, Caesar Duart, who's the engineer, and I do not think that they will take our property. We had a 99-year lease, and we've got about 65 years to go if we don't change it. We do in New Bedford, as far as moving product out of New Bedford, in dollars, we're the largest mover of product out of New Bedford, and in tons, we're also the largest mover of product out of New Bedford. So I think they'll respect what we're doing. New Bedford has been over cooperative every day we've been there. They are very much looking to active marine front activity, and they've been very easy to work with.
If I could,
Actually, Leon raised his hand
Yep,
too.
that's
That's
fine.
when you, Mike?
nope,
Ralph, Leon here. Quick question. When the barges leave from here to go back to New Bedford, do they have stuff on them or are they empty?
They're always empty, except today, we're loading 1,000 yards of John Keene's spoil, and we're barging it to New Bedford. Most unusual. The barges go back empty. Now, you have to understand, the barge business it works on a schedule, but it does not have a schedule. It doesn't work like you people. Boat leaves a certain time, arrives a certain time. A barge is loaded. When we have a large job, we work 24 hours a day. We load a barge a day, unload a barge a day, load a barge a day. Not often we do that, but Sometimes the weather dictates, and then we have to catch up. But we operate on schedule, but we do not have a scheduled departure or arrival.
Because one of the issues that we talked about was the movement of baled trash or rubbish to New Bedford to be picked up by truckers there to then transport to the disposal areas. And I don't know where that is now, but that was something we're looking long term as a way to minimize or have another way of getting baled rubbish off the island.
Mr. Davis and I worked a little bit on that. It is very popular in Europe. They bale, a bale is 4 by 4 by 4. That's kind of pallet size, weighs almost a ton. They shrink wrap it, and it can be shelf life, let's say, is up to 6 months. The cost of the equipment is expensive. And I think that's what's kind of held the process back. I think the baling equipment is about $600,000 or something, and very expensive. And of course, you'd probably have 2, one at each one of the locations, and then in the wintertime, you service one and the other one takes care of the other one. It is a very, it's a possibility. It's probably the way we're going, the way the country's going. Right now, it's handled very loosely, and the places to go are very are coming fewer all the time. And the baled could go in railroad cars and go to a disposal area in a larger area than New England.
Mike, did you have a question?
Yeah, Ralph, obviously it's no secret. The reason, we're talking to you is for reasons of trying to take the burden off of obviously freight with the steamship. We've gone over the numbers. It just keeps increasing. And obviously it came up that obviously after the wind project that they would be possibly talking to you about, moving some freight. My question is, do your barges, can you drive a truck onto your barge?
We in the vineyard, we have what we call a transfer bridge. It's similar to what you have. It's probably a little more capacity, and it's 15 feet wide, and I think yours is 11'6". In New Bedford, we have a 50-foot ramp, 18 feet wide, and do drive in there and take a look at what you have. I can arrange for somebody to meet you there, but it's worked out very well. When you load gravel, we have the trailer trucks come down, they back on the barge, dump. We have a machine to trim the barge, and we can load 1,000, 1,200 tons, trucks available 4 or 5 hours. But they back on the barge. Right now, John Keene's trucks are backing on our barge on the vineyard here to take the debris back. So we are a roll on, roll off. We don't leave the truck on the barge, but we do dump on the barge and drive off.
So could trucks stay on? I'm trying to get educated. Could trucks stay on the barge to come back and forth?
The big barge that we have would probably carry maybe 6 or 9 tractor trailers. I think on the present cost, it could be rather expensive. The barge has a capacity of 1,200 tons. That's its earning power. And if you take 4 trucks, how many is that? 30 tons, 40 tons, 30 tons apiece. That's a quarter of the capacity of the barge. I'm afraid we've gone through the numbers, and I'm afraid unless we did a little more searching, it might be expensive, but it's an avenue that we'd be glad to explore.
Thank you.
Bob, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Sorry, Ralph, if I could just follow up. When you were talking about, you would be including the tractors with the trailers under that scenario, correct?
I would say that if you did it, you'd have a yard tractor in our yard on the vineyard and a yard tractor in New Bedford. That means when the trailers are there with a product which we're going to carry, the yard tractor, they have air lift, they're pretty super. They're very short and stubby. They would put the trailers on the barge, and that another tractor, being in New Bedford, would take it out, take them off the barge and put them in a storage yard. That means the barge could continue on its way, not waiting for tractors to come. We do work long hours into the night. That means this could be accomplished during the evening, and the loaded trailers could be taken away during the day. It is possible to carry, I'm trying to think, the deck is, I think we probably could carry 9 of the trucks for the walking floor that carry the waste from the vineyard.
Ralph, what's your transit time with the barge?
With our tugs, and we're about 4 hours. We allow 4 hours. Maybe sometimes you do it in 3, but we allow 4 hours to go to New Bedford, and or vice versa. We do have to be considerate of the tide in Woods Hole Channel, but what's about we consider 4 hours. Today, I think they went in 3. The other day they went in 3 because they're fair tide all the way, and they met the bridge at the right time and in New Bedford, and they did a very fast trip. But we consider 4 hours as the voyage.
Is that, would you consider that double the time from taking a boat from Vineyard Haven to Woods Hole and Woods Hole to New Bedford? What would that total time be? 2 hours?
If you try me again on that one.
I'm sorry, Ralph, if you originated from Vineyard Haven, you got on the boat, a truck got on the boat, went to Woods Hole, from Woods Hole to New Bedford, what's the total time? 2 hours?
Well, if you went with one of the trailers, which we have reservations, we send trailers out during the week carrying product. I guess you base it not an hour from Woods Hole to New Bedford. You've got close to an hour on the vineyard. The voyage is an hour, and you've got to be there half an hour before it sails. So you're looking to 2.5 hours.
Just try to get the difference in time. Thank you.
If I could, Ralph, the idea of baled trash, I know the capital costs are quite expensive, but if there were trash put into bales, and you would then be able to take them by barge whenever you have product coming back from New Bedford to Vineyard Haven, would you have room to store the baled trash at the Vineyard Haven terminal or at your facilities?
We can probably store a barge load. Probably use a smaller barge, so it'll be a quicker turnover. That'll carries 800 tons. We now carry about 700 tons. Of course, the bales you can't, I suppose, like 3 high. Maybe you stack them 4 high in the center. We have capacity in the yard in Vineyard Haven. We just have kind of cleaned it up a little bit. We have capacity there, or the plants where they bale it have capacity. So I think there should be ample room for a barge of, I know, 800 tons. We've got to stop a little bit, think a little about the 1,200 ton barge, but we have enough room. I think between our yard and the yard where they bale them, there'd be enough room. Yes, the packaging is a marvelous way of doing it. Big expense to start off, but it does reduce the trash. And I believe there's certain landfills now that are going to receive the baled trash.
Bob?
If I may, so Ralph, in your New Bedford operation, because you're north of the Route 6 bridge, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So has that impacted any operations at all or
You mean,
frequently?
during the day, they open every hour, every 15 minutes past the hour. And at night, they're open on demand from 6 to 6. So it is once in a while we have to pause south of the bridge. But generally, you go up with a empty barge, you make the bridge, you get the ramp, you switch barges, and you go out on the next bridge. It does do it's area in the harbor that we're a little bit out of the way, out of the general pattern of the state pier and the different other piers, but we have not had any great difficulty. The bridge has failed a couple times in past history, but we seem to make it through somehow.
If I could ask, if you were looking at your barge operation, what would be the types of freight that you think you would be the most productive at carrying between New Bedford and Martha's Vineyard? You're talking the trucks may not be the most efficient because you can only have so many trucks, and that's just a few tons compared to the 1,200 ton capacity for the barge. So would it be bulk freight that could be?
Like, are you considering lumber trucks or something of that nature?
Actually, I'm trying to learn. So lumber probably is not the heaviest commodity on a truck,
But they take up a space.
they take more space.
I would think we'd start with the waste product, where it could be baled, to be most efficient in the baling, most efficient getting it on the barge, and it's certainly out of sight, out of mind. We're not in in your terminals. We're in our own terminal, both here on the Vineyard in New Bedford. I'm not sure about how far and how dollar-wise would be carrying general freight. It's a same-day delivery. A barge doesn't normally do that. Let's put some thought in it.
Thank you.
Well,
Mark?
question on the, going back to the baling of the trash. How would you envision transporting it? Are you gonna like individually load each 4x4, unit, or would you pre-package it in containers and use a yard donkey to move it more efficiently that way?
I think the way to do it would be to use it in the package, maybe have a pallet where you could put 4 tons or 8 tons on the pallet at the location where it's baled, put a flat deck trailer, keep that pallet, steel pallet underneath it, and that'd be the whole course. So you'd be moving 8 tons at one time. I think that probably, I don't think you can go any higher than 8 feet. I'm not the expert there, but at least that would be the avenue you would take. I think putting it on trucks, the trucks do occupy an awful lot of area. If you weighed out, we've not considered the trucks, but we can weigh that out and see how many trailers you get on and how many tons you can get on. Like, put the trailer on, bring the trailer back. Dollar-wise, that might be ahead, but I think we've got to spend some time weighing that out. John Packer's there somewheres. He's a civil engineer. He has many more technical brains than most of us. So he's going to have to do a little thinking on that part and doing a little design work.
Thank you.
If I may speak for a second, the current barges are designed for heavy cargo, bulk cargo. So they're deep barges and their footprint's not that big to keep them streamlined. If you truly wanted to move a lot of trailers, they do make wider, flatter barges. So we don't have to try to make the square peg go in the round hole. If trailers are what you want to do, we can look at that and retool the operation with wider barges. And similar to the ones they ran to Deer Island in the 90s to supply the construction there. I don't know if any of you ever ran into those.
So what does this do to the economics of the Steamship Authority if all of a sudden these trailers are going through Mr. Packer's operation?
Well, I think one of the issues that we had when we were, we did have Tetra Tech do a study. Part of it when we were talking with the refuse district there was the number of those shippings that they have in which they have a backhaul. And it's I believe it's more than 50% of the time they have something that they're bringing back. So the question would be is, would we be replacing trucks with loads leaving the islands, coming back with something with trucks leaving the island without a load and then returning? Whether those materials would be suited to be, bulk shipped over on the barges. I guess that'd be a question as well that we'd have to explore. I think probably construction materials and things like that. For the most part, I know that they do the firewood at times, and I guess we'd have to get a better sense as to all the array of materials that they're bringing.
If I may, and the other issue is that, as Ralph mentioned earlier, the island is more of an importer than exporter. So the island residents are generally traveling opposite of the freight. So as the freight trucks are coming over, if it's on the freight boat, such as the Island Home or the Martha's Vineyard, you see the residents leaving in the morning trips to go to the doctor's appointments or what have you, coming on that same boat going back. And then you see the reverse happen in the afternoon and evening.
To answer your question, first of all, we have great respect for the Steamship Authority. It is, the island used to be farmers and fishermen, and then turned to tourists and small cottages, and now it's big homes. So those people before us elected to have the Steamship Authority, and I think that we have to respect it very much. We want to work with you. I think we've had a good rapport. We've abided by the rules, except when we had emergency the other day or a few months ago. But I think maybe we could start with one commodity, like the trash, and maybe if you would designate one of your people to work with John Packer, who's very capable, and come up with a solution which might work. At least get something on paper, get something way out. We'd like to work with authority. We don't want to, we have great respect for the authority, and we have great respect for the people that work there. We have to take that in consideration. I have to joke a little bit. Talking to Mr. Davis a week or so ago, I said, I think that one thing is very interesting, that everybody in the Vineyard Haven terminal has gone to charm school before you hired them, because they're the nicest people. So I'm getting off the subject, but I think if you want to continue, we'd like to continue. John is capable. I know if you saw the grandson next to him, and he's a very capable young man. So I think our business will continue. I'm not going to be here forever. It's very exciting every day, but we want to work with you. But I think if we get down to the plan close at hand and see if we can come up with something to present you at your meeting that might be beneficial.
And Ralph, with this, with what we're talking about, would this work in with you still, would you have to wait till the Vineyard Wind project is over, or could we be moving forward with this with Vineyard, dealing with Vineyard Wind?
Way we set it up with Vineyard Wind, and we've re-examined our property, they can do their construction. I'm saying they've had a terrible time, but what they originally planned, they can do without impeding the present area that we use for operating the barges. We have north of where we are, we have 250 feet of open property, and that's where they propose to maintain their 2 vessels and do their vineyard operation. We're trying to encourage them to see what other open land is on the island, say at the airport, especially where they're going to have a helicopter or 2 there. They should be under one roof, but they're working on it right now. They've withdrawn their application. They're in a pause period, and I assume they'll get started up again very soon.
Yeah.
Follow up to Mike's question, Ralph. I think the question was also your barge service from New Bedford to the Vineyard would not be affected by Cape Wind, and you'd be able to do the trash at the same time. I think that's another way of asking his question. If
That could occur. Vineyard Wind, I'd say, is having a terrible time, but we're on friendly terms. I think where we are now in operation, if you like to stop and take a walk through, you'll see we do have ample room for an operation which would include some solid waste of that nature. Vineyard Wind is going to be separate. They're in another area that is adjacent to where we're operating now, if that helps you answer the question.
And do you see any possible increase in the freight you're currently transporting as affecting your ability to also possibly handle solid waste?
I think that I do not think it's going to be, I think we reached the maximum. The petroleum products are very stable. The module homes, we had one this morning. Barge came in after dark and they had them off before daylight, so to speak. So that's not, they're a very good thing to have. Vineyard people like them. And the gravel and stone and the sand could be increasing several years in the future. I think if we continue about the way we are, I think we almost have not reached, maybe reached the maximum of the barge activity. I don't know when the building will start. I think what has happened is we've become more efficient. And when you become more efficient, you do more than you did in the past.
And how many barge trips do you make now per month on average?
It all depends. Sometimes we will make 4 trips, maybe 5 trips. This coming week, we have an oil trip, and we have the return of we have one barge trip and 1 oil trip next week. One thing is we've been stockpiling a lot of stone, like 4,000 or 5,000 tons, because the crushing plants will close in January, February. So we had a very busy December.
He's asking how many trips would we make in a month?
I can can maybe tell you. I don't have the, we probably average 3 trips a week.
Okay. Should have asked for on a weekly basis instead of
Yes.
a monthly basis. And how long does it take to load or unload a barge?
In the module homes, we meet the trucker just in noontime at 12 o'clock with a barge. And takes them about an hour to load, go out on the next bridge, and less than an hour to offload. With the gravel, we move from our dock to Good Ales. We move the 1,100 tons, 1,200 tons in about 5 hours. If it's summer traffic, it's a little different story, but we start in the morning and we're about 5 hours with, we have 2 trailer dumps, rock trailer dumps, and we have 2 triaxles, and we have the drivers that come in and take care of it.
I may have missed this, but how many barge slips do you have in New Bedford? Can you do 2 barges at once?
No, we don't. We have, if you stop there and take a look, you'll see the foundation for the second ramp. We do have 6 dolphins that if a barge is not in use, we place it in the dolphins and switch out accordingly. We have a 50 by 200 foot filled dock that we use the south side for the barges, and the north side is for general use.
Okay, so you have the foundation in for a second slip if you decided to, you're set up to expand to 2 slips.
Yes, that's correct. And I think we have probably over maybe 2.5 acres of shoreside property.
If you had 2 slips here and 2 slips in New Bedford, would you expect that you, assuming you had the traffic to move, would you expect to be doing doubling the number of trips a week from 3 to 6?
What was that question again, sir?
If you have 2 slips in Vineyard Haven and 2 slips in New Bedford for your barges, and assuming that the traffic was there to move, would you see expanding from 3 to 6 trips a week?
If the demand was there, right now we are not extremely busy because we were moved. I don't know, 6,000 or 7,000 tons of material to the concrete plant for the winter because the crusher's being down. In Vineyard Haven, when we have a very large job, we have a bunker at our yard where the barge is, and if the barge comes in at midnight and it's needed, we offload it. So we have that cushion there. We have cushions. We have 2 bunkers in New Bedford. We're using one. We just finished putting 2,000 yards in it for a concrete company on the island to take care of the winter needs. If we had 2 ramps, it means a barge could be unloaded from gravel, and if there was modular home or solid waste or something, the other ramp could be used. We proposed someday to have a second ramp.
Okay. I know that Doug Brown had his hand raised, and Jim also after Doug.
Mr. Packer, I'm curious, do you have a crane at each of the New Bedford and on the Vineyard?
We have in New Bedford, we have a Manawak 4000. That's a good sized machine. On the Vineyard, John Packer has 2 machines, 2 cranes. But when we have a barge of gravel, the truck's back on, dump, and a rubber tire lower pushes up trims the barge, and the crane is not used. The crane is used in New Bedford for heavy lifts. We just did a lot with a Cashman dredge in the harbor. He used our crane for offloaded equipment, but we don't normally use a crane to load the barges or to unload the barges.
Okay, the reason I ask is in reference to what Mr. John Packer had said earlier, that if there was a desire to transport trucks, it would probably be a different type of barge. And I'm wondering if it would be something that could be considered if you maybe had enough of an agreement for transporting those type of trucks. I'm wondering if it would be a type of situation where a truck could pull in and leave the bed of the truck and drive away, and you take the crane and put that truck on the
You saying like containers?
just the container itself, and then you could stack a lot more on there. Plus, we wouldn't have the drivers waiting around. Then another, you'd ship them over there, and then another driver could come and pick up the truck. I wonder if there's enough space, or if you think that's something that might be able to be worked out in the future.
It's a thought. We do have a very good crane in New Bedford. It's I don't know what the capacity, but I know it's a Manwalk 4000. So we have a crane in New Bedford, and if we went to that mode, John Packer has cranes on the vineyard. He has two. He has one sitting in a yard. Maybe you've seen the boom up, which he uses to load his construction barge. If you went to containers, gotta think about that one for a second.
Sure.
It is a method you could use if you wanted to use. Did the trash would go in containers and not be baled. The container would then go to the barge site. Be on the barge, take it off in New Bedford and go to another site to be dumped. We have quite a few roll-off containers. I think we took the contaminated bricks from the Martha's Vineyard Museum. I think we had 19 or 20 containers on the deck of the barge. This was so that they were brought by roll-on, roll-off trucks. But it's something to be considered. I think cranes are, the cranes they use in the container ports, they're pretty exotic. But when you have a crane, you have to have a licensed operator. You have some advantages and disadvantages. It's worthwhile.
So you may do better just letting the trucks back on and then disengage, and one truck at a time loads.
That is a way to do it. We did do the containers. Container truck would come down, back on the barge, put it on the deck, drive away. That is one way of doing it if the trash was to go by container. Containers 8 by 7 or 8 and 20 feet long.
Okay, thank you. I do have one more question if nobody's waiting. Do you actually have a rail train tracks to your property?
We are next to the rail yard. We've explored the possibility of a rail track coming down on the north side of our property in New Bedford. Right now, Middlesex Corporation and 2 other corporations have a contract to rebuild the rail line from New Bedford to Taunton. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yes, sir.
They're going to build a station. One of the companies we work for handles rail cars out of Taunton with trash to the Midwest someplace. Yes, we're getting a very exotic, but we could run a rail line. There was a rail line just north of us. It's been abandoned. There was a spur onto a dock, and of course there were spurs south of the Route 6. I believe they're gone. But there could be a rail sweeping into our yard across Herman Melville Boulevard into our yard.
Okay, thank you.
Jim, I think you had a question?
In terms of the town of Tewksbury, do they have any conditions or restrictions on how many trips you can make in and out of your property there?
In New Bedford?
No, here.
No,
Here?
in Tewksbury, in Vineyard Haven.
We're kind of grandfathered. We presently, we've been at it a long time. We have never had a comment from the town. We are very careful with the backup alarms when it's late at night and not disturbing the summer population. As I know, I do not think there's any restriction on the number of barges that we bring into Vineyard Haven. We do one thing that I believe that probably the Steamship Authority does. We report monthly, I have the report here, to the Army Corps of Statistics in New Orleans. And we do that because of dredging participation. This is kind of what we send. We send what we do, and that's, but we've never had anybody saying you're bringing too many barges into our dock. And I don't know of any rule that prohibits it.
All right, thank you.
If none of the other task force members have any questions, I would propose that we do have some attendees. We have 15 attendees that ask if any of the attendees have any questions of Mr. Packer. Let me see if they are raising their hands. They are not. So, Ralph, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Ralph.
I'd like to say
Thanks, Rob.
that we are very cooperative in working with you. John is very talented, probably more than most of us. If you wish to proceed, it would be good if you designated one of your people. You've got some great people in your organization, and meet with us and we can push numbers back and forth and maybe have something a little more prepared for you than this one call. But I think we're part of the Vineyard. We're full of history. One of our early ancestors who lived in Vineyard Haven petitioned the town in 1842 to build a steamboat wharf at Vineyard Haven. It was privately owned for 150 years. So we're on the harbor. We like it very much. John has got a very good profession. I went deep sea for a number of years on tankers, but we're here in the barging business. We're not, I want you to know, we're not changing our mode in which we're doing. We're here to stay. So very pleased to be with you today and chat on this problem.
We have the greatest respect for you as well, and you're a tremendous asset to the Vineyard. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph. Thank you, John. Thank you, Glenn, for your time.
Thank you.
Great to hear that you're staying with it, and look forward to maybe having some more interaction. Thank you.
Thanks, Ralph.
Thanks.
And you can feel free to stay on. The next topic on the agenda is the topic for discussion at the next task force meeting. I think we had.
Steve, you didn't, you missed the minutes.
Bye-bye.
No, we did the minutes before first.
Leaving the meeting.
You did? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Yep, you voted as well.
No, I couldn't vote because I didn't attend that meeting, so I should have abstained.
I'll correct that in the minutes. Upcoming. At the last meeting, we talked about having one guest participant at each of the meetings, and starting with Ralph today. And the next proposed participant was Ed Anthus Washburn, who happens to be the Executive Director for the New Bedford Port Authority and is also a member of the Steamship Authority's Port Council. I put that as background, and I don't know whether that would be the task force desire to have Ed come as to the next meeting.
Would he have knowledge of the plans in the future, what's going on and how soon they think they'll be doing things and any
At the north-
timetable?
At the North Terminal, I believe so, yes.
Yes.
He also may inform us something about the south end that I haven't really been paying attention to that, but they have 2 redevelopment plans. So I don't know what the other one is completely. I forwarded the links of the update from the city, but honestly, I haven't completely read them myself either.
John?
No, it's a different topic. I don't know if you want to stay on that topic, but I had a question for the group.
It's free. Go ahead.
All right. The meeting today was wonderful, and I enjoyed it a lot. But one of the things I noticed last year was that we are without a chair. And I don't know how the group feels about taking somebody who's part of this task force and becoming the chair for this year. So I just throw that out there for conversation and consideration.
So we kind of talked about that early on, and we just said, let's let Steve run it. But
Yeah.
if group
The-
member
the
just
other
to be a
thing-
chair, it's fine.
The other thing we talked about was a rotating chair. One member would do it each month and just rotate it. But I think Steve's doing a great job if he wants to facilitate us.
Yeah, he's more of a moderator.
Yeah, moderator, facilitator.
And we're more of a think tank than a real committee, so I don't think we really need leadership other than just to interact and come to agreement on things.
Good point, Doug.
I'm happy with it, whatever the task force wants. We did talk of my role here as a preliminary matter only until the task force decided itself what it wanted to do.
Okay.
Steve, did we agree on the next meeting's person to be our speaker?
I thought we talked about Ed Anthus Washburn, and
Is everybody on board with that, I guess is my question.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Yep, I'm fine.
Yep.
I'm fine with it.
So
and we
I
like the
can reach
idea
out-
of,
I can reach out to Ed and talk to him, but I guess the question would be is what sort of dates are we looking at for his schedule?
I think we've set up on Thursdays at 4:30. A relatively short meeting. I don't know whether Doug and Jim are going to a Martha's Vineyard Commission meeting after this.
We sure are, and it's going to go for 3 hours for sure.
I
Yeah,
had
the high school artificial turf field.
Backfield, yep.
Oh, can I come? What time? I'm gonna come to that meeting.
7 o'clock, Leo.
All right.
Leon, if you miss it, don't worry. There'll be at least 2 more sessions.
Good luck.
What-
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I have a good friend who's in charge of Milton Academy in Milton, and they just put in one, and they put it in because they were spending $100,000 a year to redo their turf field, and their students couldn't play on it until after almost June because it was always being resodded every spring. And so they put in the turf field, and it's working fine. I mean, I think Nick at some point was gonna speak to the people here at the high school, but clearly it has its advantages for the students to be able to practice on a field prior to.
I don't think we want to get into this.
Yeah.
That's all. Jim and I have to maintain our neutrality while we listen to hours and hours of public testimony. But yes,
Been there, done
Leon,
that.
feel free to join and testify.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we just put one in last year, so you can always check with us how it's going if you want.
And I have one follow-up question after Ralph. Somebody mentioned that the finances, that how it would affect the steamship diverting freight through New Bedford, and I was wondering if there's going to be more space on the boats because of less freight. Is that void just going to be filled with more passengers? Is that a likely scenario?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you tell us, Steve, that as the freight grows, it takes up more space and it takes away from cars, which you're making less money because you make more money on the cars, autos? Is that how I understood it?
Actually, I think at this moment, the freight pays a higher percentage of the cost of service than automobiles.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Oh,
That was his point.
but let Bob.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering how this scenario will play out, financially for the steamship.
Well, one of the pieces that I understood as we were going through it, the trucks that are used to bring back stuff to the island, that are the trash trucks, whatever they bring back, if we ended up doing the baling, those trucks would still have to go off and get that commodity to bring back to the island. So I don't think it's would necessarily eliminate. There'd still be some truck traffic to bring back that stuff that would have to go off and get it and bring it back. Whereas the baling process would allow us to send many more tons to reduce the number of trucks carrying trash and do that periodically versus having the trucks take the smaller amount and then go back and forth. So
That's not how I understood it. But Bob, maybe you can clarify us.
Yeah, okay. So in 2019, for the Vineyard Run, the cars on the Vineyard route covered 79% of the cost of service. But that's brought down by the 29% that the island excursions pay versus the 109% that the standard fare pays, covering the cost of service. For the trucks overall, they covered 93% of the cost of service in 2019. The 4-space and 5-space trucks carried were covered 113 and 102% respectively, but the other ones were all under 100%. So, the bigger trucks are at this point paying the cost for that space, but the those standard cars were able to those are likewise paying for their cost of service plus some, and we're able to a 4-space truck, we will definitely be able to get 4 cars, but depending upon the type of cars, we could actually get a couple of them, a 5, perhaps 5 on occasion. The space question becomes is how much is going to need to still be backhauled. If the impact on our operations would be that it may be a situation where we would be able to run fewer trips if we're not carrying the rubbish and the other materials that then come back with it, or it may be able to be filled in with other there may be other needs that take that place as we move along. So.
Was it mentioned, Steve, in one of our meetings that as the freight is growing, that it's going to take up space for autos, and that you might have to limit or decrease the number of excursions for islanders? That was mentioned.
We talked about that in the future, that we have limited ability to increase our operations. And therefore, we maybe have to be making those tough decisions in the coming years. At the moment, we already have established the number of excursion spaces, the preferred spaces that we have. So the preferred spaces, which are used by excursion customers, the island residents, won't go down this coming year. But the availability of the regular fare automobile spaces probably will go down to the extent we carry more freight trucks and carry the same number of island residents who want to get off island and back. So that's what probably would be the first consequence of not of taking on more freight trucks.
We had that phenomenon going on with our Nantucket service when we put the Woods Hole down there because of their need for the freight shipments, that we saw a markable decrease in the number of automobiles that we're able to transport because of the number of trucks that were being brought up, bringing goods and services over, or goods over.
And what we're trying to do is find the best solution for the Vineyard and Falmouth and all the communities. And our financial stability is a very significant portion of that, but it's not the only one. We make the board makes public policy decisions all the time that have some financial impacts on the steamship authority, but are beneficial to the island. For example, the 50% discount rate for certain commodities that are grown on the island, that they get certain discounts on freight tariffs. And those are public policy decisions that the board has made as to encourage the proper economic development on the Vineyard.
It seems the only way to actually reduce the number of trucks is to increase the amount of freight that ships via either barge or other means from New Bedford, so that the trucks are not coming over in the first place and then coming back empty.
I thought that's why we had this meeting, was we needed more deck space. And that's why we wanted to get Ralph involved in the trash business.
And I think the baled trash, because I thought we were looking at that at the Edgartown facility is one of the things that they were looking at, because I know it came up in part of their, wasn't Doug and Jim, wasn't that part of their renovation plan that they were going to put a baling machine there at some point when they came before the commission for the their expansion?
Jim may know, I recused myself from that because I represent them, so I don't know.
Okay.
They never talked about a baling machine. They want to get a composting operation up and running. But they never proposed a baling machine.
That'd be a big hit given their finances. I mean, maybe they can do it, but I would imagine they'd have to bond that.
Well, maybe I'm just thinking that may be a federal grant type program. We get some external monies to help support it for what's going on, and maybe that's a way of getting it funded. So it's not a total hit to the town. It's an island issue, and if we were able to get some federal funds to help support the putting it in, then it would go a long way to helping the island.
It would help no matter how you're transporting it to have it compacted.
This will be a subject of further discussion at one of our next meetings, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And when we get the minutes done, we'll be able to look at everything that Ralph told us today and think about them greater. That's the purpose of this group, and it's not going to be solved either tonight or in the next meeting.
Yeah, there are definitely trade-offs. You know, the more cars you bring, the more it affects the culture and quality of life here. So it's a real trade-off.
So in consideration of Doug and Jim's, this is a recurring conflict that you have this big meeting on this date.
Can be, yeah.
Did we all want to consider switching our date to accommodate so they don't have such a long day?
So I thought we were meeting. Our meetings only last was an hour and a half. Is that what we're setting for?
Hour and a half. Yeah.
And their meeting doesn't start until 7, right?
Oh yeah,
You okay with it?
we have an hour to recover.
All right.
Let me see the next.
I'm used to this time now.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
as
is
long as you
fine.
don't mind.
It's fine.
Good.
It's only once a month.
Okay,
Thank you for thinking of us.
sure.
Thanks.
So
If you could only change the other meeting, that might help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so shall we look at February 18th?
I have a conflict with that.
Is that the holiday? We don't have school vacation week anymore.
Do we-
Yeah.
Do the 20
Ideally, we should try to identify 2 dates like we did with Ralph, so that way we can offer them to Ed.
So
The
the
school,
11th,
the Vineyard School vacation week would be the week of the 22nd.
Yeah.
which would
So
be
the
25th. But I don't even know what they're doing anymore.
are you saying the 18th, Steve? Or are you saying the 25th?
I said the 18th, but Bob Davis has a conflict, so we could, if we are free on both February 11th and February 25th, and give Ed his choice.
Either one is good for me.
Works for me too.
Works for me.
Yeah, works for me
Yep.
too.
All right, we will get back to you with the date that Ed's available, hopefully one of those two. And it'll be at 4:30 again, unless Ed can't make it, then we'll figure out something different.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
You.
You have, Mr. Salzberg has a question, I think.
He does. He does have his hand up now. He didn't before. I'll allow him to talk. Seems like a nice enough guy. Yes, Rich.
Hey, how's it going? I mean, maybe this is a question that to pose that you folks could, answer at another time, but I thought I'd just plant it. And that is if general freight can be categorized by the time necessity it needs to get to the vineyard. In other words, if it's a load of furniture, if it's a tractor trailer full of furniture, that the people shipping and the people receiving don't necessarily need to have in an extremely timely manner. And other freight like that, is that the type of freight that might also do well going out of New Bedford as opposed to through Woods Hole? Is there a category of freight that could essentially take the slow boat and perhaps be more appealing to the people sending and receiving? Because if it's, let's say if it's coming up from it's coming up 95 and it the trucker could stop in New Bedford as opposed to having to go all the way to Falmouth. Just throwing that out there.
I think that's one of the things we'll be looking at in this inquiry. Ralph was talking in particular about his barge operation, which is different than what we may be discussing the next time with Ed Anthus Washburn, which would be a freight boat operation, where you do have the possibility of same-day delivery, unlike a barge operation where you would need warehouses on both sides and that. So someone else can answer you if they want, but I think that's something that we still don't know.
Okay, it sounds like it's in the works to some degree.
Yes. Okay. All right.
No, Mr. Hallstein's has his hand raised.
Oh, Ms. Tim. Yes, Bill. You have to oh, I get to,
He's in the meeting.
He has to unmute himself.
They keep on moving. Bill, are you able to unmute yourself? I can't seem to do that.
You should be able to do it.
Bill, are you able to unmute yourself? Yeah.
Trying.
Try again, because I think we did it at cross purposes.
Here we go.
Did that work?
That worked this time. Good for you.
Did that work? Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yep. I just had one quick question. Is there in the formula and in the discussion is what consideration is given to the environmental cost of moving a given amount of some sort of product, comparing both the roll on roll off truck on your ferry and the same amount of product being shipped by barge?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just add that to the mix, the question of the environmental impact, comparing different methods of shipping, with consideration to the time sensitivity also of that any given product. So that's just my question, is that general issue of the environmental cost.
Correct. That hasn't been.
And I don't think you can probably answer that right now. You probably don't have you don't have the numbers, I'm sure.
That has not been a specific subject of discussion yet, but we accept that that is part of the equation that has to be considered, and thank you for bringing it up.
Good. And that's it. I just wanted to introduce that.
All right. Thank you.
Broad general question, so thanks.
Thank you.
Are we all set, Steve? Should we move to adjourn?
I think we're all set. So, motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second.
We have to do roll call vote.
Brathwaite, aye.
Mr. Brown.
Brown eye.
Mr. Cahill.
Cahill, aye.
Mr. Davis.
Davis, aye.
Mr. Law.
Law, aye.
Mr. Santoro.
Santoro, aye.
Mr. Sederholm.
Cedarholm, aye.
Mr. Suso.
So aye.
Mr. Vercruzi.
Cruci, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.